Hi everyone, Virginia here. Thanks for joining us here on episode 3 of Explore 365, where we're covering the best and worst of New Jersey. There's some fun debates, good topics, and a lot of fun in this episode, so we hope you sit back, enjoy, and laugh a little bit about the fun things that New Jersey has to offer. But before we jump into it, we want to give a quick shout out to everyone that participated, whether you uploaded a photo or voted for photos in the Best of 2020 photo contest hosted on NJspots.com. Thanks for everybody that participated. It was a great turnout, and we're excited to see all the great photos you guys took last year. Also, coming up, we're going to be having a portrait photo contest, so get ready for that. Check out NJspots.com, sign up for our emails to be the first to know, and in the meantime, enjoy the episode. Welcome back, everybody, to Explore 365 with NJspots. I'm Virginia, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my co-host, Abby.
Hey, nice to see you all, or if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast player of choice, it's nice to be back inside your headphones.
We appreciate you coming in, and hope you guys enjoyed our second episode where we got to talk about the most popular subject, COVID. Yay!
Yeah. And we hope you found something that you could use from that episode to expand your travels going into 2021.
Yeah, because there's plenty of options still out there. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to it and you're looking for some new ideas of where to adventure outside during COVID and quarantine, head over to episode 2 after this episode, and hopefully you could find a little bit more, find some resources and find some more spots that we could, recommend if you're in the New Jersey area. And in the meantime, quick shout out. We want to just give a quick shout out to our producer, Mike Schickalone. We appreciate you with your patience.
Woohoo!
But yeah, check him out on Instagram at Mike Sick. So that's MikeScic. He's one of our big supporters here for NJspots over the last few years. So we appreciate you, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So diving into this episode 3, we're actually talking about some fun debates and some fun topics in the New Jersey world, the best and worst of New Jersey.
And this is one of my favorite things to talk about because, as most of you probably don't know, I am a Pennsylvania native. So growing up, I'm from outside of Philly, and New Jersey was the place we would go to the beach in the summer. And that's pretty much it. So I love to talk about the worst of New Jersey.
And we love yelling at you when you're in the left lane.
Wow, you went there. So you know where I'm going to go? I'm going to start this debate off with my least favorite thing about people in New Jersey, which is your stupid argument about a dumb breakfast sandwich.
Actually, it's a delicious breakfast sandwich. I'm just going to correct you there.
Why do you guys have such a visceral reaction to someone saying, it's pork roll, it's Taylor ham? What does it matter?
It's delicious.
I'm asking you.
I mean, really?
I'm not going to argue with you. It's delicious. But why do you care what it's called?
Because no one knows the right answer. I mean, I think it's Taylor ham. And
I'm because you're from North Jersey.
Maybe, but also there's people in North Jersey that call it pork roll. So I think the argument is always going to be there because no one really knows the real answer. I mean, obviously whoever thinks whatever their side is correct is the real answer, but no one has a clarification and you can't put it in a nice little neat box with a bow.
Here's the thing that gets me. This is the thing that bothers me the most, I think. It's that if you follow us on Instagram, at NJspots, we will put up a question sticker sometimes that says, what's your favorite thing about New Jersey? Or what are you doing this weekend? Or some kind of other question that, engaging our audience.
Has nothing to do with breakfast sandwiches.
Every single time there is an argument in the comments, in our messages, in the question sticker about this breakfast sandwich. And it doesn't, like Virginia said, it doesn't even matter if the question was about breakfast sandwiches, it's always about whether it's pork roll and Taylor ham. And the thing that I like to do is say pork ham or Taylor roll to really mess people up. And they
That's
don't like
the best
that.
part. No, that's really funny
They don't.
because when people pick it and then they realize it's not even the right phrase, they message us immediately and are like, no, that's not what I meant. I don't mean Taylor roll. And it's like, we know because we literally set you up for failure.
So if you've ever done that, that was 100% me, and you can totally blame that on me. I absolutely set you up for failure and put the wrong.
And I don't even ask anymore.
Yeah, it's not even. But yeah, it's just so crazy to me that like everybody gets so pressed over a spiced meat breakfast sandwich.
It's not even the sandwich they're arguing about. We all love the sandwich. It's the meat of the sandwich, but it's so good. I mean. And hey, listen, if that's going to be one of the worst things about New Jersey, it could only get better, right?
Okay, true. But let's take it one step further with, if we're going to talk about North and South Jersey, the other thing that people argue about a lot is whether Central Jersey exists. And we were actually just on a live Instagram video right before this, and some people were dropping in the chat that Central Jersey doesn't exist. And when I first moved to New Jersey, I moved to Princeton. And this is the first time I ever heard this. There were people in my office talking about how Central Jersey didn't exist. And I was like, I am not even going to get involved in this argument.
Well, and you probably also didn't even realize, like, what that meant either. Like,
I was just like,
what does that mean?
Right. I'm like, what are you people even arguing about? But then as I got, like, more involved in NJspots, I, like, saw more and more people, again, on Instagram and wherever else arguing about this. But, like... It absolutely, there are definitely 3 defined parts of the state, I think. Like, what do you think? I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there is too. I've always, when I started hearing the argument about Central Jersey, I was always kind of like, wait, what? Like, I grew up and I still live in North Jersey. So when I started hearing Central Jersey, I'm like, well, everything's south to me.
Right.
But once I started learning more about it and the NJspots community started to grow, I really started to realize that Central Jersey not only did exist, but it's like such a unique little area because you get this weird in-between section of the beach and the mountains. So it's like this farmland rolling hill section in terms of geography and in terms of the actual landscape. So it's definitely like way different from the Pinelands and the beach sections.
Right. And actually, there are a ton of guides on our site, and a lot of the parks and the hiking areas are in Central Jersey. There are a lot of forested areas to check out in Central Jersey that you can't find anywhere else, that are really, really unique to that part of the state, and a lot of open areas too.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing that I love best about this state is there's such a wide like variety of landscapes because you have the mountains, you have the farmlands, you have the pinelands, which are completely different than forests. So if anybody says that they're not, then you haven't been to the pinelands yet, because the pinelands are way different than the forests you'll find in North Jersey. Because in North Jersey, the forests are, you have these huge rocks of granite and these trees and these up and down crazy paths, where in the Pinelands, it's all flat and it's this thick forest, but it's all sand, or it's all this like really light dirt. So it's, the diversity of this actual state in terms of the geographic landscape is amazing because it's such a small state, but it's so different. Within 20 miles, you could be in a completely different area. So that's kind of a cool part of it that I like about the state that's different than some other ones too.
Right, for sure. And the fact that you can get from a really rocky mountainous area to the beach, or to a hike with a waterfall, or to a grassy hike in the same day. You can go explore that in one day and be done. And I'll give it to New Jersey. That's a good thing about New Jersey. That's one of the best things about New Jersey.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because like we have so many different highways and roads that can get you somewhere really quickly that it's like You want to go from South Jersey to Central Jersey to visit one of those parks? Okay, yeah, you'll be there in an hour and a half, no problem. And really, if you think about it, that's not that bad of a day trip. Like, that's pretty good.
Right, and along those roads, I'll also give it to New Jersey that the roads are way better maintained in New Jersey than they are in Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Turnpike is awful, and it's only 2 lanes on each side in most places, and the New Jersey Turnpike is just elite. It's amazing. I mean, obviously not the traffic, and especially not the traffic on the Garden State Parkway.
On a Friday night.
On a Friday night, going down the shore in the summer.
I don't even think you could call that traffic. I feel like that's more of like, oh yeah, a parking lot on the GSP, because that's what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Or you get like up when you're in Union County and you're trying to get off some of those exits and there's construction on the right side of the GSP. That's pretty bad. There's just in some parts of New Jersey on some at night, it's just impossible to get anywhere just because there are too many people. But I will say, you can get anywhere you want to go in New Jersey at any time, and that is a very, 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 very big plus.
Well, and that's part of, our good roads are all the fun taxes that we have here. So that's a bit of a downside. So thanks for the road compliment, Abby. But
right.
I'd like
to
I
am
have
not a homeowner.
Some of my I'd like to have some of my money back. That'd be great. Thanks.
I'm not a homeowner, so I can't speak to the those kind of taxes.
Or just income taxes too.
Oh yeah, that's
any taxes in this state.
Bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. But I mean, listen. It, like you mentioned, though, with the roads, it is nice that we have pretty well-maintained roads, considering, although people always want them to be better.
Of course, and they're always under construction. There's always improvements.
Every state is always under construction, really, if you think about it. But the roads are nice because like you mentioned, you can get anywhere you need to get quickly. But I also, to kind of add to that point, I love that there's multiple options in terms of your directions of where you're going. You could take multiple ways to get there, which is kind of cool. It's just not just one road leads there and then that's it. So
and we would love to hear what you guys think about this too. Like, you guys could be listening or watching and think that we're totally full of it. Yeah. And Jinx, we would you might think we're full of it, or you might agree. We would love to hear. Drop us a DM, send us an email. We'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think
I was just going to say, along with the roads, I love that I don't have to pump my own gas. Some people do not agree with me, but that's one of the best things in New Jersey
when it's 10 degrees out and it's snowing, if anybody truthfully says to me, oh, I don't mind getting out of my car to pump my own gas, they're full of it. Because if anyone really wants to get out of their car when it's frigid out and pump their own gas, they're nuts. I mean, they're literally nuts, because
it's true.
I mean, whenever I travel outside the state and I it's so funny. I pull up to a gas station and I sit there for like 2 seconds and I'm like, where's the oh, I'm not in Jersey anymore. I got to get out of my car and pump my gas.
And opposite of that, sometimes like back before COVID, when I would like have friends with me in the car, I would pull up to the gas pump and people are like, why is that person touching your car? I'm like, because they're pumping.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. They're like, that's what they're trying to get in your car. What are they doing?
Exactly. So it's kind of like a weird like culture shock thing for people who aren't used to that. But I enjoy that.
I mean, that's definitely a good part of it. And generally, what's kind of crazy is our gas prices are generally lower too, which is like, okay,
it makes up for the taxes.
Kind of cool. Yeah, okay. I only wish. But I mean, what else is there's so many things that Jersey's known for. I mean, going back to the breakfast sandwiches, besides the breakfast meat that we are arguing about earlier, bagels in general in this state, I mean, hands down, I don't care again what anybody says, once you've had a New Jersey bagel, done.
It is not just bagels, it's the food. You can get any kind of food at any time of day. You can go to a diner and order anything. Those plastic menus, you just open it up and you're like, man,
it's more of a Bible. I like to call them a Bible because
you're totally right.
There's so many pages that you're just like, oh, I went to a diner today and I had 50 pages to look at. It was great.
Right. It can be overwhelming at times unless you know like exactly what you want and some, you know, but it's amazing. The Italian food specifically is second to none.
Delicious.
Second to
it's
none.
Delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're technically officially the diner capital of the world, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I would believe that for sure. People have their favorite diners. Like they would never go to the one that's even right next to their house if they have one.
No, why would they?
And that's another like weird culture shock thing that I learned when I lived in New Jersey. I was like, oh, do you want to go to that diner? And they're like, no, we can't go to that one. No, we have to go to my favorite one that's like 5 miles away, even if there's a closer one that's not even an option.
And I think what's really cool about the diners in New Jersey is it's even if you have your favorites, right? But if let's say you're somewhere else in the state and you happen to go to a different one, you know what's going to be on the menu. It's like, they're going to have a whole breakfast section. They're going to have a salad section. They're going to have a flatbread, the soup of the day, or soups of the day. They're going to have a huge display case full of desserts. Like, you know exactly what to expect, which is kind of cool because it's not like a chain restaurant where it's like, you know what you're going to order at McDonald's every time. It's even though they're completely separate restaurants, they're all the same. So it's this whole culture and this diversity that New Jersey has kind of created. And on top of that, you know, it's the diversity that translates into the people in the state too. I mean, it's so diverse, this state. We have so many different types of cultures, different history of people. We still have people that are first generation, you know, immigrants. We have third, fourth, fifth generation. It's really cool because we have such a diverse set of people because we're so close to the different cities, you know, New York and Philly, that it's a cool little experience to hear the type of culture and type of food people enjoy right here in New Jersey. And you're like, yeah, sure, I'll try Korean food because where else can you get that? You know, unless you're going to Korea, it's kind of cool to have that diversity kind of interwoven into the food throughout the state.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, with that being said, though, I mean, one of the downfalls is we're associated with New York and Philly. So as a New Jersey person myself, it's funny because unless somebody knows somebody from Jersey, there's always somebody that's going to associate, oh, you're from Jersey, that means you're from New York City. No, it doesn't. Nope. Or if you say, oh, I'm from South Jersey, people are like, oh, well, you're from Philly. No, you're not. So it's one of the downfalls because we are so close to those two major cities that people always just associate you're going to be from New York City or from Philadelphia. But it's not really like, it doesn't make sense because New Jersey is such a specific culture in itself.
Right. Well, I think that it's interesting because New Jersey's the highest per cap? It's the highest per capita?
It's something like that. It's like the highest amount of people in the smallest amount of area.
Right. And so people who aren't from the East Coast have no idea what the East Coast is like. They can't picture this many people in this small of a landmass. They don't realize you can drive through 5 states in a day. It's not like that. Like I went to grad school in Montana and you can drive through. Montana takes 10 hours to drive through. So it's like you can't even fathom.
So you drive through 5 towns in a day in Montana.
Right, exactly. Basically. So they can't fathom that. And so for them, just lumping New Jersey in with Philly and New York is just like, they're just like, oh, okay, yeah,
you're all in the same. You could drive from Philly to New York in 2 hours. Yeah, you're the same people.
Right. But then when you do talk about New Jersey, it's popularized in the media as Jersey Shore and like.
Oh God, you're just giving me anxiety.
If you're listening on the podcast, Virginia just made the most ridiculous face. But I'm being serious. People see it as the armpit of America. People saw it like that before, and then Jersey Shore came out, and that's how it's popularized, and that's how it's seen.
disclaimer, if anyone's listening, whether you're from New Jersey or you're not from New Jersey, and you've never watched the Jersey Shore, or you have watched a Jersey Shore.
Watched that?
I have never watched it, by the way, and I'm going to keep it that way. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I think only one person on that show, and I couldn't even tell you who because I have never watched it. One person on that show is actually from Jersey. So...
yeah, I think you're probably right.
No, I am right. I know I'm right. I've totally looked this up because it peeves me so bad when people are like, oh, yeah, Jersey Shore. I'm like, nope. Number one, most of those people are not from New Jersey. They're either from New York or Connecticut or somewhere else. I don't even know. Yeah. Rhode Island. I don't even know anything about Rhode Island. Like, and the fact that they're labeled with this Jersey Shore show and culture around it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so bad for our state.
Right. But what I'm saying is people who do know anything about New Jersey know it from the popularized media, which is a show on MTV. And so it's so hard to break out of that mold, and people see New Jersey as the armpit of America.
Yeah, it is really hard. But it's kind of cool, too, because at the same time, everybody knows New Jersey. I mean, literally,
that's true.
You know, so you could be watching, I can't tell you how many times my wife and I watch shows or movies, and it's always a guarantee somebody's going to mention something about New Jersey. Whether it's a crime show and there's like a crime in New Jersey, or somebody's talking about their cousin that they know from New Jersey. Like, there's always this notoriety around New Jersey because we're so packed with so many people that you're bound to know somebody or know something about the state. So it's kind of cool in that way where, like, even though we're this tiny little state and we are wedged in between these two major cities, we still have a little bit of, like, street cred, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of street cred, some of the things that our community recently told us about when they were polled about the worst things about our state. One of the first things that came up that was pretty popular, actually, which I didn't think of, was the jug handles and no left turns that we have in the state. So Abby,
how did you not think of that?
Because, like, I'm part of it. That's part of my everyday life. Like, it's just what I grew up with. Like,
this is with the Jersey slide.
I'd love to hear your take on that.
So, the fact that you can't turn left in this state, I would love to hear actually what people listening think about this. Why can't you turn left? Like, who thought of that?
I don't know.
Who thought, like, let's make an entire state where you literally cannot turn left. You have to be in the right lane to turn left. This is why people who are not from New Jersey get so frustrated driving here, because you're all the way in the left lane and then you're like, okay, I need to turn right. And they get so angry at out-of-state drivers, but there's nothing you can do. You have to cross all the lanes. Like, what are you supposed to do? Yeah, I don't know
why, like, the jug handles, I would love to look up the history of that. So if anybody knows that, let us know, because I really would love to know, like, where that came up with, because, like...
Me too.
In the whole, like, common sense world, it doesn't make any sense, because it's like, yeah, let's add an additional... light or stop sign or extra pavement that we have to put down.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense where it's like, I just want to turn left real quick. Can I do that? Nope. No left turns real quick. Not in this state. I remember in college, I had a friend who, she said that she wanted to go visit New Jersey for the first time, and she did. And then she came back and she's like, why don't you guys have left turns? I'm like, oh, we do. They're just jug handles. And she was so frustrated because she was trying to, like, turn into a restaurant or something. And she's like, I couldn't just turn left at the light. Everybody's beeping at me. And then I had to go around this whole little loop.
Well, it's also, there's no left turns and there's no U-turns either.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's some U-turns. I feel like it depends on where it is. But, like, they don't.
There's no consistency.
No, any turn has to be a jug handle. Sorry.
So wild, but yeah.
You want to turn around, you want to make a left. It's not really a left because you got to make a right and go straight to go left if you think about it. It's kind of weird. It's not it's very, I don't know. I mean, even as a New Jersey native myself, it's definitely a weird part of our state. But speaking of roads, one of the worst things about New Jersey and being in between all these cities is all these out-of-state drivers like you, Abby, from Pennsylvania and others from New York.
I will give you that 9 times out of 10, if there's a slow person in the left lane on the Parkway or the Turnpike, it's a PA driver or a New York driver. I will give you that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will give you that.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Yeah, that's
and do you know, it's
great.
One of those things where it's like, I think I saw a meme once where it was like, oh, welcome to Jersey. You're not going 85 in the left lane. You're going too slow. Right. And everybody who lives in New Jersey knows the speed limit is only 65 miles an hour everywhere. But still, 85 is way too slow for the left lane. But Absolutely. I don't get it. Like one of the things I think that irks me too is, especially with, you could totally tell when there's New York City drivers, because I'm assuming this is why, but I'm going to make a generalization here. There's no highways in the cities. So when you're in the left lane in the city, you're really not in the left lane because it's generally a one-way road or street in the city.
You can turn left.
Yeah, and you could turn left. You could do whatever you need to. So people naturally leaving New York City, coming into New Jersey on the highway, are just sitting in the left lane, just driving. So that's, I totally understand why people say that's one of the bad parts about, being in Jersey. But also on the road side of things, potholes aren't very good either, because we use so much salt in the winter. Because why not? Let's just pour salt on everything, and then it causes all the potholes across the roads.
Right.
I can't imagine. It's got to be worse in PA though, because you said our roads are pretty good.
PA has horrible roads everywhere. It doesn't matter.
Is just the whole road a pothole?
Yeah, basically. Don't come to Pennsylvania if you want to be driving anywhere.
You're just going in a big pothole.
It's just gonna break your car everywhere you drive.
Yeah.
Basically, all the bad things about New Jersey are the roads. Yes, we can just generalize that.
But it's also some of the good things too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Basically.
Good and
bad. We would love to hear. We would love to hear. Those are some of your submissions to the bad things about New Jersey. But we'll do another story question to see what you guys think. But we would love to hear more of your opinions. But don't tell us your opinions on Taylor ham and pork roll, because
we don't want to hear it.
I've had enough. I already know what you think. We all know that you love the sandwich.
Let's just make it a new name. Let's just call it like New Jersey bagel meat.
New Jersey
NJspots ham roll.
My sister actually just sent me a picture because she hears me talking on this podcast, and she said, Taylor is the brand and pork roll is what it's called.
Abby, I don't have another 3 hours in my day to talk about this.
So she literally says, Taylor is the brand and pork roll is what it's called.
Know.
She sent me a picture of it.
A lot of people say that.
John Taylor's pork roll. So what's the problem? Why can't we just come to a consensus?
Let's just call it John Taylor's ham.
Why don't we call it
pork roll?
NJspots pork roll. NJspots Taylor's pork roll.
I love it. Done.
Perfect. We figured out the biggest problem I have with New Jersey.
So we're going to put that in our story.
Great. I'll work on it for after this episode.
Yeah, that'll be great.
And on that note, one of the best places in New Jersey, one of my favorite things about New Jersey, is exploring all of the amazing spots that we have, obviously, because this is called the NJspots podcast, Explore 365 podcast. And one of my favorite spots is Sandy Hook. Everybody knows and loves Sandy Hook. It's one of the national park sites, one of the 4 national park sites in New Jersey. And we like to share an off the beaten path place on our podcast. And this week we wanted to share the Voodoo Bunker. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but I only heard of it last summer. Our intern Anna told us about it. It's a World War II munitions bunker that's on the bay side of Sandy Hook. You can park in a couple of parking areas in Sandy Hook. You walk down the bay side to Bunker Beach, and you will find a bunker that has graffiti on it. Now, we don't condone graffiti, so please don't bring a can of spray paint. But you can take your camera. You can go inside. It is so, so, so cool. It's an abandoned spot. It's on our abandoned spot list. It's also, there's a guide up online. So if you go to NJspots.com and search Voodoo Bunker, you'll be able to find it. Another really, really cool thing about this spot in Sandy Hook is that you can see it from the Mount Mitchell Scenic Overlook in Monmouth County. So if you go online, NJspots.com, and search Monmouth County, you can find these 2 spots and a bunch of other spots in our scavenger hunt.
Yeah, and they're those county guides that we put together last summer are starting to pick up a little bit again. So if you guys want to check out some local places, we have a guide for every county, so be sure to hit it up and check it out.
Absolutely.
And kind of diving into, some of the topics we talked about today, a lot of the different opinions of the best and worst of New Jersey, we know are very polarizing opinions. But with that being said, I'm sure it's something that you probably can relate to, which kind of goes into my marketing and digital tip for this episode. Whether you're a photographer, a freelancer, you work in marketing, or you run your own business, any way that you could apply it, we have a little bit of a tip that you could use some of these polarizing opinions and some of these different ideas of how to get some more engagement through your social media. So if, ask about the worst or best part of New Jersey. Ask about the worst or best part of your industry. Ask for opinions. People love giving their opinions. So if you're looking to get some more engagement on your social media posts, you could always do different things like, what's the best camera that's out there? What's the best tool that you use as a business? Or what's the worst tool that you use or that you've been disappointed on? So if you're looking to spark up a little bit of engagement through your social media posts or through some of your marketing or your freelance and your outreach to your different audiences, be sure to ask some opinions, see what people say, spark up a conversation because you never know what could come out of it. If you have any suggestions for digital marketing tips or any spots that you want us to cover or write about, be sure to email us at podcast@njspots.com, or you could DM us right on Instagram at NJspots.
So thanks for joining us this episode. We hope that you didn't find our opinions too polarizing, even though I have a lot of opinions, so you can share them with me anytime by DMing us on Instagram at NJspots. You can also join our Patreon and chat with Virginia on there about her marketing and digital tips. You can join our Slack channel for more daily conversations about photography in New Jersey. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at NJspots. Anywhere you find NJspots, we will be there. You can sign up for our email newsletter to get news on guides and contests first. And
by the way, we have more contests coming up soon, so get ready.
Make sure you're signed up for our email newsletter. And please subscribe and rate us on the podcast platform of your choice.
And if you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button or subscribe.
Thanks for joining us for episode 3. See you
and
next
we'll talk
time.
to you guys soon. Take care. Hey there, Explorer. Virginia here. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of Explorer 365. Hope that you found something useful out of it. And if you want to learn more about any of the topics we discussed in this episode, be sure to head over to NJspots.com, where we do have a summary for every episode on our website. And if you want to support us even further, we would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to us right here on YouTube so you don't miss any future episodes. Also, if you're interested, you could always become a supporter on our Patreon account. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or topic ideas, feel free to email us at podcast@njspots.com. In the meantime, happy exploring.